Hello, guys. Well, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and why this is a major bullish buy signal. Could be the last chance you get to buy at cheap prices. So let's start with Bitcoin. Yes, it has lost about 1,500 points today, or roughly 2,000 points today, actually. Why? Because I do believe that some of the excitement is starting to wear off for the conference that's actually coming up tomorrow. Buy the rumor, sell the news always works like that. It sort of starts to cool off as the event approaches, but also because we did actually finish the Kraken distribution yesterday, and we're starting the Bitstamp distribution for Mt. Gox tomorrow. Now, right after the Kraken distribution, they didn't really sell off that much. They only sold off, we went down about $1,000. But today, looks like they did sell off a little bit more. Maybe some of those people are aware of buy the rumor, sell the news, and they're basically trying to sell the Trump JD Vance news as well. If that's the fact, then it'll dump more after this weekend. Now, Bitstamp is the other player in this. So far, what we know is from all the coins, Kraken's gotten 2 distributions. Bitstamp's gotten 1. Kraken's roughly got about $6 billion. Bitstamp has $3 billion. $3 billion from Kraken has been distributed. They still have $3 billion left that will actually be given to Kraken tomorrow, and they'll probably distribute over next week. Bitstamp is going to start distributing tomorrow and probably finish distributing the next day. So the difference between Bitstamp and Kraken is that Bitstamp is mainly Europe and Asia. Kraken is mainly United States. There are some people, and I'm not really sure if I believe them, that are saying that Asia will act differently from North America and they're more willing to sell the Bitcoin. Not really sure if that's true or not. They might just be making speculations. But I think they'll have about the same propensity to sell, but maybe they're not as in tune with American politics, with Trump, JD Vance being pro-crypto, and with a crypto conference coming from Nashville. So they're more likely to sell when they actually get it. We'll see what happens tomorrow when Bitstamp starts distributing and through into the weekend. If tomorrow and Friday we see a lot of selling, we could go down to 62, 61,000 or possibly even more. So right now we're down about 3,000 points in the 2 days after the Bitcoin distribution. We were at 67,000 before, now we're at 64,000. If Bitstamp does the same thing, we could be at 61,000, and then the other batch comes in, we could be below 60K. And at that point, I think it's a really, really good time to buy Bitcoin. It might actually be the last big sale event and the last chance you get to buy Bitcoin under 60K in this bull run. Because yes, while there is the other Genesis distribution, that one I think is a little bit more muddled. We don't really know when they're going to sell, and they might just sell OTC and not like dump basically spot like a lot of these smaller players are. Remember, this Bitcoin distribution for Mt. Gox, a lot of these are smaller players. They may not have access to OTC, so they're just dumping themselves. Yes, there are the holding companies, but we don't really know how many are holding companies and how many are individuals, and there's probably still a good amount of individuals left for BTC. So I think next week, if you want to buy Bitcoin, is the golden opportunity to buy cheap, and it might be the last opportunity you get to buy cheap for this bull run. Let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum, I do believe, is the same happening. The thing that's happening to Ethereum is the same thing that's happening that happened to Bitcoin during the ETF run. Obviously, Bitcoin going down today had an effect on Ethereum going down, but that wasn't the only thing. The ETF came out, and as on cue, Grayscale had $113 million of negative inflow today because Grayscale outsold more than the other coins bought, and that's exactly why Ethereum went down to 3,100 today. That and Bitcoin going down a little bit. And I do expect the outflow to continue over the next couple of days. Remember, Bitcoin dumped for a couple of days, bottomed out, I think, about a week afterwards, and stayed that low for another week before going back up. So Ethereum next week would also be a really good chance to buy it. It could be the only chance you have to buy Ethereum under $3,000 if it goes that low. Think about it. Bitcoin dumped about 20%. Ethereum might dump that much too. We could be at about 2,800 or so before it starts going back up. But that will be the lowest it gets, because once Bitcoin hit that point where it just went up, it went straight up from 38,000 to 73,000, and it never dumped back down into the 40,000s, which is where Bitcoin was when the ETF was released. Now, I think Ethereum might actually get the same thing. go down to $2,800, then shoot up to nearly $5,000. And then if it dumps, it might even just dump into the 4,000s. So you will have to be buying a lot more expensive than you are right now if you do not buy next week. So if you see those prices next week, it is definitely time to pounce, because there's not another big distribution or big sell-off event that we know is in the cards. Yes, like I said, there is the Genesis thing, but that's more mucky. There is Silk Road, as always, with the United States. Although Cynthia Loomis is writing some kind of bill to turn that into strategic reserve. Don't think that's going to even get out of the committee, but maybe it'll actually happen. But even if they do sell Silk Road, it'll be over the next several years. So it won't be nearly as big of a deal as these Sun cells like Mt. Gox. So without any of those coming, with interest rates coming down because Jerome Powell is most likely going to cut in September, and with BlackRock and the rest buying these ETFs, I do believe that we are going to have an upturn in the second half of the summer. And if you don't buy next week when it dips, you might never get to buy at these low prices this bull run again. Yeah, there'll be other dips, but they might not actually dip nearly as low as this one. So get your bags ready and get ready to buy. If you're still buying, scoop some of those cheap coins up, especially the altcoins, because we're probably going to be in for a wild ride afterwards. That's all I have to say. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.